Alright, we're back with another video. I got something from Pierre who's talking about the trade war. And I apologize, I'm pretty late tonight. I got home from my mom's 60th birthday party, and I won't be adding too much commentary as I am slightly intoxicated. I don't want to be too unprofessional about it. So we're going to get into this. Now, before we do get into it, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps grow the channel, and I appreciate you guys so much for that. So let's see what Pierre has to say, and then we'll talk about it briefly after.
No place better symbolizes the Canada-U.S. tug-of-war for auto jobs than the river separating Detroit from Windsor. A tug-of-war that has intensified as President Trump has made clear he wants our auto sector and our auto jobs. Now, of course, markcarney promised that he could, quote, handle Trump, that he could, quote, negotiate a win, and that he would have a deal by July 21st. Well, here we are, it's almost November, and there's no deal, no win, no elbows, and increasingly, no jobs. In fact, the Prime Minister promised that he was going to build an all-in-Canada network of automotive production. Since that time, what we have seen is the tragic loss of so many jobs. Just recently, Stellantis announced it was moving operations from a 3,000 worker plant in Brampton. And of course, there's been about 1,000 workers who lost their jobs at the Cami plant in Ingersoll, and another 700 workers in Oshawa that have lost their jobs. Meanwhile, GM has announced that it's making $4 billion of investment in the U.S. Stellantis, $13 billion of investment. That's money leaving Canada to go to the United States of America, making them richer and us poorer, all bursting in and shattering into smithereens the promises markcarney made to those workers that he would protect their jobs. Of course, he made promises that no one could ever keep, and he broke promises that he should have been able to direct. We needed to focus on the things we can control on the Canadian side of the border. For example, the government's plan to ban internal combustion engines, gas and diesel-powered vehicles, is already killing jobs even though it's not yet implemented. Because of course, if you're a business looking at making an investment in a plant, you're not going to do it if that plant is going to be banned or severely penalized by a government mandate 3 or 4 years down the road. In fact, you'd move it to another place like the U.S.
And you see, that's why we need someone who thinks fiscally conservative. People say markcarney does that. Yeah, just wait and see how wait till the budget comes out and tell me how much of a fiscal conservative this guy is, okay? But Pierre's right. Like, if you want to protect the jobs or say your elbows up for Canada and protecting jobs, we've already lost many, many jobs. And again, I don't want anyone to lose their job. But if you lose your job over this crap and you voted Liberal, there are certain people I would feel like I would, people personally, friends and family, but the average person, I would have a hard time showing any sympathy for you. You voted for your own demise and it happened. Okay, like, what do you want me to say? Sorry? Do you want me to feel bad for you? And then what are they going to do about it? Vote Liberal again? Come on. There are people who, no matter what, will vote Liberal and Conservative too. But when's the last time the Conservatives destroyed the economy? There were always lots of jobs, and even with Liberals, by the way. In the early 90s with Chrétien, Canada was doing amazing. Now everyone's struggling after 10 years of Trudeau and about 6 months of Carney. But Carney's a sneaky guy. He knows how to get people to like him, with the help of mainstream media, of course. But Pierre's out here telling it like it is. Stellantis is gone. Oh, the Liberals are going to stop them. No, they're not. You know why? Because guaranteed employment wasn't in the contract, so there's nothing they can do. The Crown Royal bottling plant, gone. Nothing they can do. And what does Doug Ford do? Oh, I'm going to pour out a bottle of Crown Royal really slowly because I'm a fat idiot. It's insane. Pierre's, again, a common sense guy. Everything else, every other option is insane because it hasn't worked and there's been 10 years of an example to prove it. But some people will just be liberal forever.
Where there is no such mandate, conservatives believe that Canadian business and workers decide what cars to make, and Canadian consumers should decide what cars to buy. In other words, get rid of the mandate and put you back in the driver's seat on the vehicles you choose to drive. Secondly, I don't know what's worse, Trump's tariffs or Carney's taxes. He's got an industrial carbon tax that applies to almost everything that goes into making an automobile. The plastics, the rubber, the steel, and the other metals that could potentially be produced or altered or changed are all more expensive because of an industrial carbon tax that does not exist on the American side of the border but does on our side. This drives production and paychecks out of our country. Let's get rid of the entire carbon tax for everyone, for everything, for good. Let's cut tax on investment by allowing people to reinvest, businesses to reinvest their capital gains tax-free as long as it's invested here in Canada. In fact, let's take all taxes off of Canadian-made automobiles so that our consumers have an incredible incentive to buy Canadian. We need to fight for our workers, fight for our people and our production. We need to start to put Canadian business, Canadian workers, and Canadian quality of life first. In fact, let's put Canada first.
And hopefully Pierre actually means that, and I think he does. I think he is a legitimate, concerning person who is very concerned with the state of Canada, the future of the middle class. Markcarney's here to destroy it. I think Pierre Poilievre wants to conserve it, and that's what conservatives do. And that's what we need in government, because we've had too many years of failed liberal policies. In the past few months alone, grocery prices have risen. Rent has risen, not decreased. And yes, it's a small increase, but again, if you do the math, if every few months rent goes up by 5%, how long before it doubles? 40 months? Okay, that's terrible news. Like, this is a terrible projection that we are under right now, and the liberals keep saying, we're going to do this, we're going to fix it, and people believe them. Give it 6 more months and see how much you believe them then. And then we'll see what happens. Maybe, even just maybe, we might have an election. And swing voters will wake up and realize that, nope, Justin Trudeau's economic advisor for 5 years was not the right choice. Not even close.